Coming soon on social medias, it's S-Class.
So what's the level? Like a bottle of chibuku? Like a bucket.
To my nature, I criticize on social media. Yeah, I think I'm good at that when it comes to social media. That's why I really like spending most of my time in social media.
Buli lwenywa kunjaga eyo naye mba sirina ssente ntulaali n'endowooza.
Coming soon on social medias, it's S-Class.
Welcome everyone to S-Class. Remember, S-Class is aired every Saturday and runs on Facebook, Twitter, and also on Instagram. And today we are going to discuss gender-based violence in Uganda. We have two young people to discuss about gender-based violence in Uganda. They are going to introduce themselves, then we are going to know more about what they do. And later on we shall proceed with some of the research which was done by Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development in Uganda. So we can discuss about gender-based violence in Uganda. So welcome Katerega and Nulu. Please introduce yourself, Mr. Katerega.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Emmanuel Katerega and I am working as a Programs and Communications Officer at SafePal. Yeah.
Then?
My name is Nura Sharif Nantume, Project Manager SafePal. Yes, nice being invited here.
We are meeting you all. Before we go further, we are going first of all to look at the research which was done by Minister of Gender about gender-based violence. They say that there is two forms of gender-based violence, that's sexual violence and also physical violence. And they are saying that 35% of girls in Uganda go through sexual violence and 17% go through sexual violence. The 17% is for the boys, and they are saying that the 35% is for the boys. And they are saying that 59% of the girls face physical violence, and they are saying that 68% of men or boys face physical violence. What is your say about this research, according to you people?
Well, it's the Ministry of Gender. Whatever is fed into the database of Ministry of Gender, that means that it's fully researched about and it's what is happening on ground. Yes, many of the boys or men are abused or physically violated, and they do not speak out. That's why we have many cases from the boys' side, but then you do not even know that the cases exist, while the same happens to the girls. Yes.
Yeah, I think as a complement to that, to the statistics from the Ministry of Gender and Development, every CSO, like besides government facilities that provide care and support to GBV victims and survivors, there are CSOs that also do management of GBV cases, which then later feed this data into the national GBV database. So I believe the statistic that was put on that paper, the Ministry of Gender, is really true, and maybe besides the others that are not captured, because there are some people who face this violence, but they are not reached. They are not reaching support centers, so there is no way they can get. We can have their numbers also added there. The statistic is true, but maybe some other portion is not.
Left out.
Left
okay.
out.
So, which percent do you think that is left out? Is it the percent of the boys, or the sexual gender-based violence, or physical violence?
I would say either way.
Either way.
Yeah, but so much of the boys, because sometimes we know GBV is normalized most of the times. Things like most of the physical bit of it. Let me take an instance, like in schools, secondary schools or primary schools, where students are being beaten by teachers. These are, at some point, it's corporal punishments, which people think it's okay for students to be caned like 10 strokes of a cane, and so that's also physical violence that people do not really consider and to look up to. So they think, in the African context, they think they are trying to nurture maybe this young person. Yet at the end of the day, it also contributes to their emotion and their well-being, like physically, like maybe scars and things of that sort. So those are some of the numbers that I'm saying the minorities that are not captured in this system.
Before we proceed, I want to know more about sexual violence. Why is that when it comes to girls, the percentage is 35%, and when it comes to the boys, the percentage is only 17%, meaning girls are more violated sexually than the boys? And is that true?
Well, I believe sexual violence is a crime, yeah? And, well, right now, most cases that have come in, many of them are from the girls. And a few of them are from the boys. Look at it this way, that sexual violence or gender-based cases are already having this stigma that is attached to them. The survivor has self-blame, that sometimes they think that they might have caused that act to happen to them, and they feel like they shouldn't report. Yes, and society has also brought up the men or the young boys in a way that they have to be brave. So any boy or any man that comes out and says that I was sexually abused or I faced gender-based violence or battered by my wife would be looked at as less of a man.
Yeah, that's very true when you look at the African society.
So hence causing all this less reporting from the men and more reporting from the girls, because they are at least a little bit favored in a way that they are the vulnerable sex. Yeah.
Then before we proceed, I would like Mr. Kadeka to tell us about what does the term gender-based violence mean according to you?
Yeah, the term gender-based violence, to me, there are keywords in the phrase gender-based violence. There is gender and violence. Those are keywords I'm trying to capture here. So gender is basically how the societal or the way how people perceive others to be. So it's an issue to do with sex and gender roles, and like roles in terms of sex, either male or female. So how these things are defined, the social construction of well-being of a human being. That's gender to me. Then the violence, of course, this is when something that may call for aggression, power relations. So gender-based violence is basically violence that arises, arises on the basis of gender, as defined by a society or community. For example, if we say maybe there is a power component in it. Someone like wants to show superiority over the other, either sex or gender type. That's what gender-based violence is to me.
Maybe to complement what Katerega has just said, we would just call gender-based violence an overall term, to define that identifies all these harmful acts that are perpetrated on a person without their consent. Such if it has anything that it inflicts on a physical person, on a physical being of a person, then that is physical violence. That is battering, cutting, maybe strangling. That is all physical violence. Yeah. And then we also have the sexual violence, which involves rape, defilement, bad touches, even many people do not consider, how can I say it? Some sentences are also sexual, can be put under sexual violence because they are verbal, but then they are kind of materializing you, sexually materializing you as a human being. And we also have the emotional violence. This is done through words or maybe acts. Somebody might not literally come and slap you, but just say something that
touches you psychologically.
Yes. Yes.
And then to Mr. Kathari, what are some of the acts that you think that they qualify to be violent?
I think I may not be so specific on the acts, but most of the times, of course, gender-based violence is violation of some human rights, or if not all. So there are categories and sets of human rights that really, if they are violated, it's already gender-based violence. Most when it comes to women and girls and children. So because we know way back from the start, women were considered to be maybe a weaker sex. That's already violence that was inflicted on these groups of people from way back. So there are many acts that people do, depends on the relationship between the two parties and under what grounds are you doing this.
Emotional.
It's something to do with emotions. You know, when nicknames come, there must be something they are trying to see. For example, how people nickname me, they call me Stick. So it depends on the ground. Sometimes it's okay. If it's okay with me, then I don't.
You go with it.
Yeah, if it's okay, if the relationship between the accusers and the accusee, I don't know if it's true. So that if in the case of that situation, if you have like an understanding, it may not seem to be violence. But once this is on grounds of trying to insult, still show power, demoralize, that's already violence. Those are acts that I'm looking at.
Thank you so much for that. Still, we are going to go back to the data from what Minister of Gender had to capture. And why is it that we have quantitative data when it comes to gender-based violence?
I beg your pardon?
Why is that we have quantitative data when it comes to gender-based violence? I mean, Mr. Kadeka said that there are some gender-based violence which are not always captured in their data system. Why is it there?
Well, like I said before, it's not that there isn't data that is flowing in. It's just that there is less of data that is flowing in due to the fact that, like I had said before, many people, many survivors, many victims fear to report because they do not want. You have seen how the press brings all this stigma around the person that has reported. Yes? So people might fear to be identified as the victims of violence, of a sexual abuse, because they don't want to be put in a gatari konfu.
Definitely.
They don't want to be on top of some newspaper headlines that she was raped. And also, they also are blaming themselves for what happened because they think that they had a way they kind of maybe persuaded or seduced that person into that act. Yes? And also, maybe the other thing is the whole process is long. So most of them give up
the process.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have something to add on when it comes to data?
Qualitative data, yes. the reason why there is absence of that connection is one, the technology that we use to capture the data. Uganda is one of the countries that have no. Okay, we are trying to get to realizing and of course appreciating technology issues. Things of like data management systems, computerized data management systems. Yeah. Where even skilled people to perform or to work on these on these machines and technology are really few and not so efficient. As I told you, CSOs have authority to capture data and feed into the NGBVD, but because of the system that is being used, so people are used to the paper-based kind of data management system. So transferring this data to a computer system and then pushing to the national database, it's really
it's quite hard.
Yeah, it's quite hard.
Some people don't have computers or computers to put all this, and sometimes cases fail when it comes to all that. Then what can we do to address issues of gender-based violence when it comes to data? If data is not qualitative, what can we do in that we can all the information about gender-based violence can be easily recorded? Do we just need to train people how to use computers? Do we just need to put computers in place or to put internet in place? What can we do when it comes to data?
Well, I think we're already even doing it right now. Yes? First of all, the community or the public needs to learn, to know what gender-based violence is, yeah, so that they can embrace that that problem, yes, and then they need to know how to go up around addressing the problem. That is through teachings. We need more professional people to come on board so that they can teach the public on how to handle these cases, to know that a person's confidentiality should be treated as first priority, and medication should be also first priority plus safety. Yes? Yeah. So we need to really first teach the public, and then that way they can complement whatever the government is already doing. Yes.
Maybe if you have something to add on when it comes to data collection of GBV.
I think it's just the enhancement of the skills from the people like concerned stakeholders when it comes to management, like police, the civil society organizations, because government has tried to do it. That's how we even managed to get statistics from the Ministry of Gender. Government is trying to do it, but I think we need to push it more. Yes, as individuals, as responsible co-citizens, it's our role and responsibility to ensure that this data is captured to help more other people out there.
Maybe something that I had forgotten. On the side of the service providers, many of the service providers are still stuck to the paperwork.
Definitely.
They need to be flexible and embrace the new solutions that come to simplify their work, and not see them like addition of work, but see them as another way of simplifying whatever they are already doing.
Maybe when we also do that, then how does the sensitivity of gender-based violence affect the programmatic response?
Well, in cases whereby it's a rape case and it involves incest, first of all, the survivor's situation as in safety has to be prioritized. So that means they have to relocate the survivor from the home to a more secure place. In places whereby it's a sexual and physical, it's a physical abuse, like a young girl has been defiled, well, all those things, we need to make sure that we pass through all sensible procedures to make sure that her safety is first, medication, yes, sure. So that there is nowhere perpetrator will come to compromise already her emotional state, because by that time the survivor is emotionally very, very volatile, yes? And also we need to bring on board the service providers like the police to know how to handle these cases, to make sure that up from this young person or this person being given security, what are they doing to make sure that justice is provided, not to destabilize already the situation that it has already gone left. Yes.
Just an addition is because most of the time for an intervention to be done on the victims or a survivor, it has to be considered from her. For example, if I was raped and I come here and you give me maybe health care, I will choose not go legal, like to take the legal part of it to achieve justice. To me, justice may be more of getting the medication, and then life goes on. You understand? So programmatically, this is how it affects, or how GBV, that's how complex it is to manage GBV cases. Because even if you want to do an intervention, but if the person you want to do an intervention on is not willing to proceed, that's what makes programming of GBV, I think.
And what may cause that is because they are threatened by the already existing circumstances. Perpetrators, maybe they are coming from a family. The family wants the survivor to drop the case, and we all feel like it's not right for this case to go
proceed anywhere,
to go unaddressed, because sexual violence is a police case.
Definitely.
There is no way you're going to drop it. Yes? So many times if it's an incest case, then the family might want to intervene so that the perpetrator is not apprehended. The survivor herself is already embarrassed, feels embarrassed. So if we do not consider the points that the both of us have just spoken about, then it might affect the programmatic way of handling.
I think there's also this thing of how will the community see me if I was raped, or how will the community see me because my wife has beaten me. Like for men, sometimes you want to always hide away from all those things.
Look macho.
Like it looks so ashaming if you come out and say, you know what, my wife always beat me in the middle of the night because of this and this. And do you think the police has a role to play in this thing of gender-based violence?
Yeah, I think the police has, because GBV, mostly when it comes to sexual and physical ones, police is I think it's the first response service center.
It's the first and the last.
Yes, it is. It has to coordinate all the other sectors for the individual to achieve justice and also comfort in them, even overcome trauma. It has a role to play, a very big role to play. It comes to response of GBV. For example, apprehending and taking on these perpetrators to be held accountable for the acts they do. That's one thing police has to ensure, and it's their mandate. And it because it even has a dedicated, dedicated department in police, the child
protection unit.
Exactly. So that it's dedicated to make sure that forms of violence against children and families, because you know this GBV is from a household. Which household is containing a family. So that unit there is just specifically to handle GBV cases and maybe domesticated kind of violence in terms of GBV. So police has a very big role to play.
So, and maybe to just add a little bit on what he has said, police has to, the police, its responsibility, the first responsibility is making sure the survivor is safe. If it needs to get the criminals, put them in prison, or get the survivor, put her or him in a different shelter, then that's the first thing they should do. And it's also responsibility. It's also responsible for documenting as fast as possible the documents that give the
People report
survivor.
some things are not always worked upon, and police does not sometimes act. Or if it acts, sometimes they'll get lost in the test. I don't know that you have such about, but that's what people always say when it's police.
Yes, we have heard of many cases whereby the case was compromised because the perpetrator was rich enough to bribe his way through.
Yeah.
We have had cases whereby the crime is reoccurring at the police station.
Police station, yeah.
A young girl is brought in and she's re-repped from or redefiled from the police station again. So, well, these things happen, and we're trying to see that they reduce. Even the government itself is trying to see that they reduce.
Maybe let us pray that everything goes back to normal when it comes to our Uganda. We can't love so much. And how can we easily manage gender-based violence in our community, schools, and also anywhere? How can we easily manage gender-based violence?
Well, we can easily manage gender-based violence by recording, taking note of, now, like for example, the government already has different sources that bring in data, like the hospitals, the police, the national gender-based database.
Yeah.
All those places are just to bring in cases
Yeah.
and feeding to the I beg your pardon, sorry.
It's okay.
All these are inlets of information and data that is required to keep an update of the statistics of the situation that is taking place. And this is how we can take note of the progress of these recorded cases, left out cases, maybe cases that were reported but not worked upon. That's how the government is getting to know that this amount of this amount of cases were not reported. This one was reported but not worked on. Yes,
Yeah.
and maybe 32 were successfully worked on. And the cases that come into the hospitals also show that this number of people went for PEP before it was above 72 hours.
Yeah.
This one's requested for contraceptives to prevent pregnancies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe also to add on that, I may change the question a little bit,
okay.
Because if you say how can we easily really manage GBV cases, I would say how can we. My question would be how can we effectively manage it? Yes, because it's not easy to really manage GBV. It's so very, very complex. It's not so easy as we may think, but maybe how can we effectively do it? I think having it starts with you. All your advocacy and activism starts with an individual. So mindset change is something we are, like a lot of people communication and sensitization has to be done in public places, regardless of the situation, be it marketplaces, be it office business centers, schools, institutions, organizations, everywhere we have to speak the same language about GBV, because GBV is something that happens on a daily basis, and it's a world problem. It doesn't happen in Uganda, all this, everywhere GBV happens. So sensitization, yes, GBV is so complex to that extent that no country in this world will say that for them they are doing well, they have no GBV. So GBV is everywhere, and it happens like even as we speak right now, GBV is happening out there. So a lot of GBV happens, but it's not captured because of the knowledge gap. So it starts with you and me, like as advocates, we speak what we're doing right now, talking about GBV to influence mindset change and of course communicate behavior change. That's what we need to do for us to effectively manage before we even get to support centers, because the support centers are there, but if people don't know that they are there, how will they get to know that I have to go to police or at this point and
This organization is existing, yes.
Sure. So you mean people should get to know about GBV?
Yes.
Do you think that like maybe some people know about GBV, but what GBV is and what does it mean that some so has been violated? because we have had cases whereby people have lost their relatives. Sometimes when it comes to trauma, and psychologically they get tortured, those who are being violated, and more so when it comes to the girls. I don't know whether boys also sometimes they become psychologically infected when it comes to GBV, because sometimes
Yes, they do.
Yes,
They do.
because they always say boys they are made out of metals.
But what really hurts is they die in silence, you know. They just say, okay, because of society perception, and so somebody's like, okay, but they die in silence. They have the pain, the trauma, but they can't reveal it. They are stigmatized, like because of stigma around. Hey, reporting my woman beating me. Actually, I had some discussion with some lady, and I told her, by the way, I'm worried about my future wife, because I want to have a wife who is really bigger than me. So what if she beats me up and then? So the lady laughed at me. I was like, "No, you're a man. You shouldn't." You see, even this lady is looking at me as, "You're a man. You're a man." So you having that
element of being a man.
Yes, being dressed as a man really puts us stigmatizes as victim.
But we should also look at the fact that society is really making it hard for men to report, forgetting that the more somebody sits on depression or stress, the more even the criminal instincts develop from there, because like we were in some seminar with my colleague, and they taught us that once depression or stress burns out the senses, once depression and stress go high, they produce a hormone that burns out some part of the brain that is responsible for consciousness and shyness. So that person will end up being a criminal too, because his consciousness was burnt out. Because nobody cared by the time he needed help. Nobody felt pity for him or gave him the hand when he needed that help. So it burnt out, and he's like, if it happened to me, anybody, it can happen to anybody. So it's not new, so I can also do it. Yeah? So we need the public to come on board. Sympathize with these people.
With the victims.
Yes.
This is going to be the last one before we go for a short commercial break. I always see parents who back at their kids, and the kid grow up, sometimes get scared, even if when he or she sees the mother coming, the kids run back to the house. Is that also another form of violence, whereby parents back at kids, they beat them up sometimes, maybe when they have moved and they have taken long to come back at home? Is that also another form of violence?
Yes, it is.
It is violence, and as we've been discussing earlier, first of all, parenting is key when it comes to the well-being of every human being that was given birth to. So parenting is key and paramount, and really needed for us actually to realize like a sustainable world or kind of development. So if parents really back at the kids, because as I told you, GBV comes with power, like power over to show superiority. So parents want to show that you are my son, you are my property. That's really a power issue.
I have control over you.
I have control over you, so I can do anything with you. But when it comes to human rights, what does the human rights have to say about it? Is there any violation of human rights? True, there is violation of the human rights as children, but because they don't know, as I also told you, information is really lacking. So I'm a kid, I don't know the role I'm supposed to be playing in a family. Neither does my parent know what roles, like what are they responsible for. However much you gave birth to this kid, you pay for their school fees. There are some things you need to just understand. Like it doesn't make any sense backing at a child. Why can't you, like, instead of sit them down and talk to them on what to do, like how can we progressively move,
like guiding them?
Yeah, guiding them instead of backing. Because the more you back at them, as Nura has just stated it, like with time they'll have to overgo their trauma in a way that they'll have to act straight. You understand?
Yeah.
When something is suppressed in Uganda, we have, I'm sorry I speak so much about Uganda.
It's very okay.
So in Uganda we have a saying that goes, bw'onyigiriza ennyindo ogireeta omusaayi. So at some point when you suppress something to the wall, when somebody is pushed to the wall, they'll end up also like acting in a way that to respond to the suppression, which may be negative most of the time. So kids really undergo that by parents,
and just bad parenting. If parents are not really conscious about their parenting, they might lose out their kids, because the children copy what the parents do
to them or to their fellow.
What the parents do, yes? So if the father is always coming in backing, and this boy grows up knowing that I'm supposed to be backing, then he's going to grow up backing at his spouse, his young children. If the father was abusive in a way that he used to beat both the children and the mother while they are looking, yes, this child is the same child that is going to be abusive when he grows up. So bad parenting will always bring criminals. Yeah. Just look at most of the cases that have come of rape, of most of the criminals, even the juvenile criminals. Yes, when you look at their background, bad family, something that is related to bad family.
Definitely.
So it all comes back to our parents. How are they raising us?
Definitely. Then you're going to go for a short commercial break, and that means child begins from home. And there's such which says that most of the children who are on our streets of Uganda, it's because of gender-based violence from home or from the community they always come from. And we are still coming back, and we're going to discuss more on what this team has done. That means you're going to discuss about the SafePal, that is an app which they always use to report about gender-based violence. Let's go for a short commercial break. I'm going to be right back. Gender-based violence among Ugandans in Uganda today, and we have the two panelists, that's Katrika, Emmanuel, and Noel. So we are discussing about gender-based violence. Now they are going to tell us more what they have done to at least reduce gender-based violence in communities and in schools and elsewhere. And they have something that they came up with, so they're going to tell us more about it, and we shall be going through the questions, and they'll be giving us answers from their thing that they have made. So, Mr. Katrika, Emmanuel, so tell us about what you guys have done to reduce gender-based violence in communities or in Uganda today.
Yes, we come from SafePal, as we introduced our name. SafePal, an innovation for reporting or responding to gender-based violence in terms of confidential reporting of sexual harassment and all other forms of violence. Though primarily we look so much on the sexual bit of it. So it gives confidential reporting and timely services to victims and survivors of violence. This is an innovation that is supported by UNFP and partners and key stakeholders or role players in the field of GBV. SafePal is a smartphone application and web application, so it's a technological tool in terms of tech. So we are leveraging on the technology to address challenges that are faced by young people in Uganda, even outside Uganda. So it gives provision of support to GBV victims.
Okay. So why do you have to you choose the word SafePal in all names or in all words in the world?
Well, we looked at it in a way that who is that one person that knows you most times better than your mother, father, or sister?
I know myself.
It's your best friend.
Sure. Maybe.
Your best friend knows your darkest secrets, and most times they do not even say them out. Yes.
Sure.
So we tried to come up with Safe Body Unit. It wasn't rhyming, and then we came out with SafePal, because apart from being your friend, it's keeping you safe in a way that it's keeping your secrets safety.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how we came up with the SafePal name. Yes.
So when do you guys start up SafePal? Which year was it, and what is it there?
Well, SafePal began its activities in 2017 when it was launched, but it was a baby that was produced in 2015 in a competition called Hackathon, whereby they called many people from different parts of the country, or of the world, sorry, to come up with solutions, technological solutions to address
Yeah, when you get to the team of SafePal, we are a team of 6 young people supported by UNFPA and other partners. So, what motivated us? Some of the team members of SafePal, it was out of experience, what they've gone through in life, or what we go through. We know sexual and emotional violence is so much and so common in the young people. Intimate partner violence, sexual violence and arousal, indecent assaults in the form of the verbal and that verbal, the nicknaming, and so these are challenges that we face. We are experiencing. Like we are, I'm a victim of sexual violence in terms of language sense. You understand? So when we looked at this and we had these ideas, brainstorm around that, and did some research. We found it so important and critical to have the SafePal innovation as a team. So that's how we did SafePal came, because of the experiences that we were going through as young people and what we see our fellow colleagues go through.
And then when you are saying that it came out of experience, meaning some of you are victims.
As I said,
everyone is a victim. Directly and indirectly, we tend to look at things in a really light way, things that really graduate, because it always takes a small step to graduate to a bigger step.
Okay. What age uses SafePal and who shouldn't use SafePal?
Well, SafePal is designed for everyone, but we especially are addressing people that are in an age bracket of 12 to 25. Because we believe that that person has the knowledge to use a smartphone better, and has the knowledge to help out a friend who might need that help. Yes, and it's also the age bracket that the UNFPA works on.
Maybe to complement what Nora has just said. We have primary audiences and secondary. So our primary audience is what we are talking about now. This is like our concept. Most of the concentration is at 12 to 25. But this is not, we are not limited to that age bracket. Now I'm assuming I'm an old woman or an old man there in the village and I face violence. That doesn't mean that I won't be supported by SafePal. I can as well report. Then through our referral system and linkage, we can get you to a support center that can take care of you. For example, even in the system, in the SafePal system, like in our partners, we have the 116 Sauti Child Helpline, who they basically deal with children. But at some point, they also even tell you that we get cases of people that are 20 and 30, and they want you to assist them. But because it's an intervention that was designed primarily for children, so this GBV case is cross-cut. So that's our primary audience, but target, but we can.
service to them rather than concentrate on everyone. Yes, everyone can report, yes, but we try to look at this person that cannot afford all these services.
And from the day that SafePal was launched in 2017, so in 2018, so very soon 2018 is also coming to an end. Do you think that it has been of good use to the society or for the young people that you guys are serving?
Of course, of course.
How what should you say?
Well, apart from SafePal having the platforms to report on, yeah, SafePal has the SafePal team has been going to different schools, different exhibitions, yeah, to sensitize about in. People are reporting, and yes, we are happy to say that people that the reason for why SafePal was made is being accomplished in a way that people are reporting.
Okay.
Yes.
Then, do you always how sure am I that the data I'm giving or the information I'm giving won't be shared to anyone, or like how sure that how you guys are going to protect my So take us through what you guys always capture in your database when it comes to if I'm reporting, if I'm a victim and I'm reporting on SafePal, what am I supposed to put in, and what do I have to be with?
Reporting a violence using a SafePal application, reporting a violence case, it requires your just the age. It requires your location. It requires the type of violence, rape, defilement, bad touches, like to clarify on what really happened, and maybe your phone number.
of Kampala, because Kampala is quite huge, yeah? Once we effectively cover all of the whole of Kampala, then we can begin to scale up to other districts. Yes.
Action aid, center, like even now campaigns they do also, but Kampala, we have services they offer, outreach services. So in case of someone that we know about that support centers can have the capacity to support people from wherever they are because of the connection and the structures that are yeah. So, but
On the set side right now, why they shouldn't use that product, then it's no use. So we are trying to do both things, or about both promotions of the problem and then how to address it using SafePal. And the team is also conducting different focus group discussions, also outreaches in schools, and so very soon we shall be hitting agencies. Yes.
Maybe when you have something to add on promotion.
Promotion, like what we talked about, is also sufficient. We really need to get to the spaces where our audiences are. So in case of any space, any event that these audiences, these young people are, we are looking up to that. So we really also need to push the thing, because
they reach out to you and
yes, they can easily reach out to us.
the event.
Exactly, and we be part of the event. We exhibit, we talk about it, because we even facilitate FGDs about gender-based violence. And simple as that. It's not what we measure in, but we have that provision. So we have within us we have experts that can yes, so they can really elaborate more and really give the information. So we're looking at those spaces where people are, they can contact us through maybe our email and phone numbers. Yeah, we have the SafePal at Gmail that you can email to us, or you can email me directly, Emmanuel at SafePal.co, Nura at SafePal.co, Rachel at SafePal.co. So all these are contacts that you can use to get to us. And
Well, you can get SafePal through Google. It is only 3.4 MBs. It's more than Candy Crush that everybody has on their phone. Yeah, the apps that are really heavy. Yeah. to go through the conversations
And then
that
you
you
not
need.
look at the expense that's going to show
You need to
It's
put
because I know your phone has like internal memory of about maybe 1
Yeah.
plus like 8 GB.
When I was reading
I
about
was thinking,
SafePal on the internet, and I saw this provision of whereby if somebody comes up across your phone, or if you don't want this person to see that you have brought it, you report it, you can easily remove the app. I don't know whether it's true or false.
Well, that is part of our confidentiality promotion. Yeah, SafePal provided a user a button, an exit button,
Exit button, yeah.
that helps the user to quickly uninstall the application in case they are in a very compromised place, and maybe sometimes they might have had only 10 minutes to access a perpetrator's phone. Just saying, imagining, hypothetically, a survivor has accessed a phone, but it's for the perpetrator himself, and he or she only has 10 minutes.
10 minutes to
Yes.
use that phone.
Yes. So this survivor will be able to report as fast as possible, download report as fast as possible, and immediately long press the exit button. And when she or he long presses the exit button, it will ask, the application will ask them if they want to uninstall, and they uninstall immediately without going into procedures of.
And if still I may ask, what time does SafePal work? What if I'm reporting in the middle of the night?
24/7.
24/7.
Yes.
though not forgetting that people who support survivors are also like human beings. Yes, they event because yeah, some people like I have to make it clear, because SafePal is okay. It works for emergencies, but not so effective for emergencies. Most of the times we do post incident. It has happened like 5 minutes, and not that some. I'm worried. Some okay. You can, if you can, we may not respond very fast, because you say somebody's going to with me, because it's not a call center.
Yeah.
So it depends on the timing, but it's online 24/7, and the call centers are online 24/7. But sometimes late in the night, maybe
Maybe people might be sleeping, but that does not prevent a person from reporting, because immediately when the service providers get that alert, they will still have to take action.
So if you are sleeping, obviously in the morning at around 6 they are woken up, and by 7 I believe they check their phone to see what the
Or
time
maybe
is.
if I was sleeping and this phone vibrated or alarm for me, I would wake up looking it's a case, and you cannot say that, oh, I'm going back to bed. You have to.
So they are mandated.
Okay, maybe. Do you think that our country, Uganda, has reached that of reporting using applications?
Uganda is one of the countries in Africa that has really that is embracing and has embraced technology. So yes, I think Uganda is ready.
And besides, this is where we're heading to, the technological era. So even when it comes to globalization, technology is key when it comes to development, and is recommended. Actually, even when you see budgeting in Uganda, they have invested a lot in the ICT ministry. Yeah. So and I think according to research about the smartphone penetration within youths in Uganda, it's getting to 80. So surprising.
Sure, 80%.
Yes. Yeah, you can research about it, like penetration within young people. That's how far we've progressed as a country. So they are embracing the technology, and that's what we want to tap into, because we know young people
Curious.
they're curious, and they need confidential stuff. So I can report with my phone, nobody knowing.
Nobody knows.
It's between you and your phone, and
somebody could be thinking I'm just
playing maybe a game, or even WhatsApp, and I
because
don't need to walk to police. I don't need to walk to so even police will come in my convenience. I may choose that, I don't have transport, I'm here, so the intervention will be done by the service provider arrangements to get you, just in case you may not.
That's how far our country has reached. And where do you see SafePal in 10 years to come, if I may ask that?
We began seeing SafePal going global from the day we began thinking about SafePal.
Sure. How?
Yes, because we do not think think that SafePal should be something that should be kept to one country alone. If we can save as many people as possible, then why not expand to East Africa, then to Africa, then, you know, the sky is the limit.
Yeah,
And go SafePal global.
Yeah, I think maybe 10 years from now, because you know, SafePal is operating on a kind of open source, so it can be reflected elsewhere. It will be easy in case somebody is interested. Still, I want to say SafePal, like before even the 10 years, like I think 2 3 years from now, I think we shall be the national GBV reporting tool.
Sure.
Yes, that's where personally I'm seeing SafePal going, like to be the Uganda or the national reporting tool, like
For GBV.
And we're already making integrations with different service providers elsewhere, not in the country. So that means the dream is still there. It's still coming big.
And this might be the last one. And do you think you guys at least putting something, or do you think that it's important, or it has been important for you guys to come up with this kind of innovation of putting up this app? Do you think that you are contributing, or you are putting a brick on fighting GBV from the time that SafePal has been innovated and the time that it has been launched, and the case that you guys have been receiving? Do you think that it has been so effectively used, and do you feel proud of yourself coming up with all this?
Well, we are already proud, yes? Whether it's one report, whether it's 2 reports, that's a step forward, yes? And that is already helping somebody. And once you help somebody, that is already pride, yes? So we are already proud, and we think we can do even much better, yeah? And we are already thinking, we are already doing much better, yes.
Yeah, and I think we are contributing to, you know, it is a tool, it's an option. If you have like actually development in terms of SRHR and GBV can be benchmarked or can be realized through provision of options. For example, if I'm going to Kampala, yes, I have one route, but I have options to take.
Yeah.
I may use a border to get there faster. I may use a taxi. I may use if Uganda was that
You may use a train.
you may use a train. So if people have these options, it's really, so we are creating another option. So if I can't walk to the service support center, what else can I use to let people know? You understand? If I can't if I don't know where these places are, how can I get to a know? So SafePal is really contributing. It's also a tool. There are many others out there, so we are also a contributor to ending GBV.
And the fact that GBV is not like any other problem, whereby if a girl is pregnant, you will see that the girl is pregnant and she needs to go to hospital. Yes, SafePal has contributed in a way that now the people that are voiceless are having a voice. Yes, I might be hiding behind the screen, yeah, but at least I'm reporting, and at the end of the day, I'll get help.
And we also counted.